inspires you to be a better sharpener? I'll tell you who inspires me, and it's not who you might think. And I'm not going to use his correct name, but I'm going to call him Henry. And Henry is a sharpener, but he's not that good a sharpener. He's never really had training. I don't know what equipment he's using. But he sends me shears about once a week to look at what he's done and to fix them. And there's shears that he's given up on and that I've got to now take them and make them work somehow. And each time it's been a challenge. I've shot a lot of videos of shears that Henry has sent me, and he sent me 3 this week. And one of them I'll be showing you. I looked at it, I didn't see anything drastically wrong. I just thought regular sharpening would fix it. And it was a Kenchi shear. And so I was training some people this last week, and I gave it to them to sharpen. We sharpened them the regular way, and they still didn't cut. And so we kind of looked at it, thought maybe there's some alignment issues, but it had me baffled. And so I turned to someone I know that has sharpened more than me. Not more years, but more sharpening, and that's my son-in-law, Jay. And I'd let him take a look at it. And so I'll be showing you that. But I do want to talk about what and who will inspire you to be a better sharpener. And some people, they'll put things in there about me that they like my videos and I inspire them to do better. But it's your customers. And for me, Henry's my customer. But it's your customers that inspire you to do better, to get better equipment and better training. In the early days, I've got to tell you about Lan. She was a little lady that worked at the Great Clips, drove a Lexus SUV. That's how much she cut hair and how fast she cut hair. And people would line up waiting for her to cut their hair because they knew even though there was 2 or 3 people ahead of them, they would get in and out faster and get a better haircut. Excellent haircutter. She always had really good shears, very picky about her shears, and very picky about the sharpening. And she only used me. And she was never satisfied with my sharpening, never ever. And that's what spurred me on to get better equipment, better training. I didn't learn from one person. I learned from a multitude. And I've put different things together. The best things I've learned have been from other actual sharpeners, although I've trained with the factories. But we as a sharpening community can share our experiences, and that's what you're going to see today. Because these shears that Henry gave me, I gave up on them. I was going to shoot a video, try this and that, and I said, Jay, come in here, and I'll let you see what he did with them. So you're just watching the shadow and pulling up a burr.
Yep.
Okay. Want paper towel or toilet paper? Okay. And you did just one blade or both blades now?
Both.
Both blades. And we're at, what grit are we?
I think it was
400. Worn 400. Still not cutting, is it? Is it better? Yeah, I know it's a little bit out of alignment because we checked it, but not huge. What I do is I leave this thing here, and I just turn this on. I just turn this on to
Gotcha.
Turn it on. This is your first time to use it, old Cymac Jr., isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's not bad, is it?
No.
It was set up here from the last people I trained. So if you were doing that in a clamp, it would probably be maybe a 35-degree angle or 30.
Yeah.
And you're not even trying to convex. You're just trying to do a bevel.
Yeah, we're trying to get a bevel right now.
At this point, just make them cut, right?
Yeah.
That get it? Want to cut some hair? You think you got it, or what you?
I'm gonna do the tips real quick.
Oh, the tips. So you turn it off, and you're just scraping the tip.
Yeah, because it's just pulling.
So it's sort of like I used the nail buffer, but a little bit more aggressive.
Yep.
Did that fix it?
Still pulling a little bit. So, I don't want to do it. You may want to check with them, but it probably needs the tips round just a tap.
Rounded or bent?
Rounded.
Oh, go ahead and round them.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and round them. Shorten it a few millimeters if you need to. Then we'll cut some hair. And I might have more years of sharpening, but you have had more experience sharpening than I have at this point, Jay. Just for the number of shears you've sharpened. You got it? Let's cut some hair. Get the mannequin over here. Here, try her. You're the man, Jay. Is that tip cutting okay?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, so this is not making them like new. This is just making them cut, right?
Yeah, whatever the issue is, I'm just trying to get them to cut.
Yeah.
So.
You don't even worry about what the issue is. You're just making it work, huh?
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you. You're the man, Jay. This was the second shear that Henry sent me, and it came just in these two pieces like this. So I scrounged through my parts, and I did find a screw and a washer to fit here. But there's something I want to show you about this that's a good tip to remember for the future. So I'm going to put this in, square peg in the round hole, flip this over here. This is the easiest way to put your shears together. Put that finger here, hold that screw into place, line them up so the edges are touching each other. I know this seems simplistic for a lot of you, but for some of you this is a difficult thing to do. Always make sure the hardware fits before you do anything else. That's not going right in the hole. Ooh, I thought I had the right size for that. I need a little smaller plate. Let me get that. Hold on a second. These we call leaf plates for lack of a better name. So I need one shorter. Even though this peg fits, this does not. So I've got a number of different ones. May not be pretty. This one is shorter. That one may be too short. Let's see. It's too short. So I need something between these two sizes. See, one size doesn't fit all. That's the same thing. What about that one? Ooh, that looks good, doesn't it? Let's try that one. But it's a square hole, but it's still going to work. Would have been better if that had been a round center hole. But I think this will still work. Okay, it looks like we've got it, right? Here's what I want you to see. I'm going to flip this over. Let me see if I can zoom in closer. If you look close here, let me put the light on it. Can you see that the washer protrudes a little bit here? That's something you might miss. So whenever you put a new washer in, or just reassemble a shear after having it apart, always look and see if the washer is sticking out, because that'll give a false reading on how tight the shears are, and you want to be able to adjust them right, and there'll be a problem with it. So way you could fix this is to put in a different size washer, or just, I've loosened it up, just kind of poke that into the hole. I think I can just, this is a very rubbery washer, and I think I can just kind of poke it all the way in the hole and it'll work. If not, I'll need to get another washer. So, it might not fit in there. Let's see. It's still sticking out. There we go. Look at there. See, it all goes in there. So that's going to be fine. After doing all this work, and I do this first, I make sure I can adjust it. Don't ever start sharpening until you're sure you can get the screw, whatever parts that are missing, those fixed. Then, after that, then I'm going to sharpen it. This is one of Henry's shears that he tries to sharpen. He has not come in for training, and you see it doesn't cut at all. Not at all. Nothing. Oh, I've got this one yet to do, and then I have this one. This is an Ozar. Never heard of that brand. It's adjusted right, no cut. Oh dear. So before I sharpen this, it's all scratched up on the surface. It's got several different angles here. Let's see if I can photograph those angles. Maybe I can videotape the angles. Can you see this has two different angles? And the inside looks pretty rough. And the blade looks scratched up, like someone tried to convex it and then realized they shouldn't. Let's see if I can get the blade, the pictures. You see the scratches on that blade? This way. See the scratches down the blade and all kinds of different angles. So when you're faced with something like this, that it's not cutting at all, it's in all kinds of rough shape, and I've never heard of this name before, Ozar. I'm going to Google it and look them up. So, Ozar shears. The only place I'm finding them is on Amazon. Well, they're on Etsy. Let's see, on Etsy. There they are. $20. $20. These are $20 shears. Do you think they'll ever cut well? Top quality stainless, yeah, for $20. That's it. That's the shear. So, you don't want to go to extremes with something that's a $20 shear. Here's all I'm going to do for it. This is an 80 micron. I might use a 400 grit. Something fairly coarse. I might freehand it like Jade did that other one. This one I'll set a clamp. And I'm going to set it at $20 shear. Let's set it at 20 degrees. How about that? 20 degrees. I got a piece missing out of this clamp. Let's get another clamp. So I'm going to set this at 20 degrees. Usually I would do something like this at 20, at 35. I'll do it 25. Let's see what happens at 25. Hate to go all the way down to 20. If it doesn't cut at 20, we'll go down to, if it doesn't cut at 25, we'll go down to 20. So I've got my clamp set. I'm not going to take these shears apart. I might. This is my broken arc hone. And I'm flat side. I'm just going to run it down just to smooth that up because it looks really scratched up inside. And when I'm pressing on it, I'm pressing, you really can't see it, but I'm thinking in my mind that I'm pressing on that ride, not flat on here. I know it looks like I'm perfectly flat, but it's ever so slightly, not a big lift up, but just with the pressure on that front ride on the cutting edge. And clamp it in. Now see, on the Cymec HD there's a little cutout space there, so I can put that screw down in that cutout space so it can rest on here well. And oh, I guess it would help to plug my machine in, wouldn't it? If ever your machine doesn't work, start at, first of all, is it plugged into the wall? Then number 2, is the power cord turned, is the power strip turned on? Number 3, is the cord actually in your machine? Those are the first things to go through. Okay, now it should work. And I've got a burr all the way down. Out of 400 grit, which is pretty coarse, but it's a consistent angle all the way down. Ooh, hot. It's another thing tells me it's a cheap scissor. It got hot really quick. Might have, shoulda, coulda, woulda put some water on it, which I can do that at this point. Okay, got a burr on both sides. Now cut it off. A little bit of cut, a little bit more of a cut. Let's see if it cuts tissue. All I'm worrying about at this point, does it cut dry? Will it cut hair? $20 shears aren't supposed to cut like a $200 pair of shears. Still not good at the tip. I'm gonna hit it again. Hello. What you bringing me? Shears to sharpen?
No, it was an exchange.
Just to check it.
Yeah.
Jay fixed those shears that we couldn't fix.
I heard. He's the man.
He's the man.
He's magic.
Some of you that are new to my channel and don't know about our company, Bonika Shears is a family-owned business. It's a family-run business because Mystie is family. She's my oldest daughter and she runs it. And she's partly my partner. And then her husband, Jay, is a sharpener, local sharpener. He doesn't work for us directly. Now that's still pulling at the tip. just a little bit at the tip, so I'm just going to round it off. And for a $20 shear, that's good enough. Let's see if it'll cut wet, just for the ha-ha jollies of it. So now I'm coming to see if it cuts wet. It doesn't cut wet well, but it's a $20 shear. What I want you to learn from this is good enough is good enough. Let's see, does it cut hair? No, it doesn't cut hair. It flipped it. Did you see it? Let's tighten that screw a little bit. Let's see. Does it cut hair? I'm pulling my thumb out. It's still flipping. It's flipping. Alright, when it flips hair, it's either the screw is loose or it's just not that sharp of an edge. I'm going to say it's just not that sharp of an edge. If you use some side pressure, it works. It's this spot right in here that's not cutting well. It's a little bit out of alignment, and I'm not even putting it on the bar. I'm just closing it slow, and I feel it's pressure, 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 and then easy. See, easy, and then a little more pressure. I'm going to let it go. $20 shear. I'm not putting more effort than this in it. So, on to the third one. This says Magic's Japanese stainless steel. Let's see how much these shears are and see how much effort to put into these. Magic's Shears. Sponsored. Oh, they're paying to have their stuff here. They're in Indiana. Let's see how much these shears sell for. I'm not seeing it. Showing all 12 results. So that's all the shears that they have. Alright, so these are running 69, 64, 59, 59, 59, 69. So we know they're not high-end shears. But they're better than the other ones. And I've already tested them. They don't cut. Just a really rough edge. Let's go ahead and work a rod line with them and do them the correct way. Taking them apart. After doing all that work putting the screw in, I've got to make sure I fix that washer when I put it back together. It's funny, now I can't get the washer out. Okay. So that rod line looks a little rough. This is my Nanawa stone. Things out of the way here. You like our water bottles? We've got them online now. So I'm not going to color these in red because I want you to see. Normally I'll put the red Sharpie on here, but I'm going to leave it like this because I want you to see what the rod line looks like before and after. How many strokes do I do? It's almost like a Zen thing. I can feel when there's a smoothness there. It's like it's just gliding across. And I'm like, okay, I've arrived. And then I'm going to wipe this off. It definitely looks better. See if I can get that same angle here. Now it may not look like I have the rod line all the way to the end, but that's just because of the shadow. See, I do have it. And I'm going to compare the one that I have not done the rod line on. And you see the difference? It just looks rough. This one looks super shiny. So let's do the other one. Not yet. I don't know if you can see it the way the light hits right here. And that was a spot I said that felt like, no, it was on the other shears. Put a little extra pressure right here. Most of my pressure is here, and I'm pressing down. This is a 2000 grit stone. I could go to 1000 and then down to something finer. It would be a little faster. Okay, that looks good. My clamp is set at 25. I'm going to move it up to 35. Not too sharp, not too dull. Got a Warren 400. This one is a fairly new 1200. Let's do this one first and then go to the 1200. I'm not feeling for a burr after this because I know I've got the burr. I'm going to go back here, knock my burr off. It's gone. And I'm just going to kiss it back here on this outside because I probably pushed a little burr to the outside. See, just barely. Okay, these did not cut at all before. Let's see if they cut now. All I've done is basic sharpening. And then I'm going to send these back to Henry. He's got an order he's placed. And Henry is not his name, so don't think you can go and find out who Henry is. But Henry will be a much better sharpener after he comes for training and he gets the correct equipment. So, put this back together. But I want you to notice, Henry, even though he doesn't have the right training and he doesn't have the right equipment yet, it's still not stopping him from getting out there and supporting his family and earning a living. Don't feel like you got to quit until you've got all your ducks in a row. It'll make life easier if you could afford to, but you do what you got to do. I see how I'm kind of checking the tightness without closing it. I might cut off on a paper towel or double tissue. So I cut on the paper towel. That way if any burrs, it's gone. And let's see how these cut. Cut dry. $60 shear. Dry is probably good enough. But let's see if we can get it to cut wet. Cuts wet. Look at that. So I'm going to call these done. Let's see what they do with the hair. No flipping. See, I've got my thumb out. Hey, I'm quite pleased with these for a $69 shear. And I'm reasonably pleased with how well these came out. The only one of these shears that is any decent quality is this Kenchi. And sometimes it's knowing how much work to put into something. Now, I've got another video that I think you'll enjoy. I will put it up here.